In this episode, we're going to check the different versions of Navisworks, and we're going to talk about them. As you know, Navisworks actually has three versions: Freedom, Simulate, and Manage. Freedom version actually is free version, and it's for contractors or those people that you're going to use it as a kind of checking the models with NWD format that we're going to get familiar with that in future. It will be used for these people. By this link, actually, you can have access to this free version. Let me just click on this link, and as you can see, this page is opened, and you can have access to this freedom version in here. Of course, we have different versions in here based on actually your need. You will download the version that you want, and you can just use it. We can see the features in here in WD and WF. They are supported, and the models based on the properties and based on the data actually that they have got placed inside the model, they are all supported. And also the viewpoints, animations, red lines, comments, all of the plans are supported. By this part, you can go for navigation, like walking through the model, checking, actually zooming in, zooming out, and these kinds of examples, all of them are supported. And also the materials could be supported. These are for checking the models. Clash Detective for the 5D are not in this part. So actually, you can have the Freedom version by this part in here. But about the other two versions that they are main, and they have really much more and many, things in here. Navisworks Manage and Simulate. There are two versions of the Navisworks that based on your need. By the modules that they have, they can just support your needs. So let's have a kind of comparison for these two ones. Actually, Manage version and Simulate version. At first, let me tell you that the Manage version is really complete version, and actually Simulate version is more limited. At first, for the explanations that the Autodesk has given us, and that they are, for example, you can have really Clash Detectives coordinations for professional coordinations based on the 5D filing. Simulations, of course, it has some tools for simulations. About the simulator, you will have review, and instead of control, you will see the word of review in here, and also you can have 5D simulations. And as you can see, we don't have Clash Detective module in Simulate in here. About the price, actually, you can see based on the year, you can see the prices in here. They're completely clear. And who can use, for example, these versions? Navisworks manages for coordination and Clash Detective simulation and analysis and quantification. It's perfect. But Navisworks Simulate is for simulation, analysis, quantification, and review. Yes, it's used for these items. Based on the role that you have in that project or organization, you can select that which version you're going to use, Simulate or Manage. Of course, Manage is really a better version. And for example, what kind of modules does each one have? It has Clash Detective, Manage, that to manage the interferences. You can see, for example, integrated data in WD and in WD's publishing, 5D project, and for example, photo realistic model. You can see them, of course, in here. Beam coordination with AutoCAD integrated with BIM 360. You can just actually go for model aggregation, and for example, integrated model, takeoff and 2D shade takeoff. All of them are supported, and it is integrated by BIM 360. And the system or platform is Windows. Navisworks Simulate actually here, it is talking about the model file and data integration. We don't have the Clash in here. For publishing, we have in NWF and NWD. 5D could be created. Rendering actually in here, BIM coordination with AutoCAD, BIM 360 integration. Of course, we have actually model aggregation with different formats, actually integrated model takeoff actually in here, of course, both by 2D, for example, sheet takeoff and other things, and the platform is Windows. So actually, we can actually get familiar with different versions of the Navisworks, and here I just suggest you to install the Navisworks Managed. It is really a complete version of Navisworks.